Hi, my name is Brenda. This is my husband Dan. This is my son Sal, and this is my son Zach, and this is my daughter Andrea, also known as Scooter. Andrea Danielle Capaldo was born 11/19/07. Pregnancy was great, no complications, everything was going smooth. Delivery was great, and the first 5 months were good as well. Day 2 in the hospital, she was given the nickname Scooter, so she went home with that nickname. Then when she was 5 months old, she started doing some crunching motions where her knees would come up to her chest and her arms would go out to the side. And she did it in a cluster of about 6. And we watched it for the next few days, and she kind of started getting lethargic. So we went to the doctor, and they actually sent us immediately to the ER. When we got to the ER, they hooked her up to an EEG to monitor her brain waves. And in that moment, they were talking to her as if she wasn't responsive. And then that's when all the nurses and doctors came in, and we kind of got shooed out of the room. She had a diagnosis of infantile spasms. Infantile spasms is considered a catastrophic form of childhood epilepsy due to the difficulty in controlling the seizures. She also was at risk, severe risk for aspiration, that she could aspirate and die. And we were within that first 1 to 3 years of age, and we did have an aspiration event. I had to call 911 and ask if I could give CPR. So we had some close calls along the way. Most families buy baby books for their newborns, which I did for Andrea. She never met the milestones that are in the baby book like my son did. Age 5 is when we received the first belly laughs, the first reactive, purposeful belly laughs from Andrea. She required 24/7 care. And so when we got those first belly laughs, I knew at that moment things were gonna change, and they did. She started interacting. She would focus on me when I walked into the room, and she would keep eye contact. She would start raising her arms and doing kicks and stuff. So finally, we could focus on her as a child and not on the diagnosis. So it was time to get her included, and we did that very much so. She plays baseball with Miracle League, she cheers with Apex Athletics, she dances with Dance Without Limits, tap and ballet. She has participated in multiple pageants with Miss Amazing Iowa, and she's also ran way more 5Ks than I have with Team Run Free. So she's actually an Iron Woman at this point because her health has gotten so much better. She's been seizure free for about 3.5 to almost 4 years now. Life as a 9-year-old right now is pretty good. So when she was 3, I heard about Make-A-Wish Iowa, but in the beginning I thought that was for terminally ill children. But then as time went on, I learned more about it, and friends came to me. They're like, no, you need to apply for Make-A-Wish. And then they said it's for kids with life-threatening illnesses. I'm like, well, that fits Andrea to a T. Andrea's wish was to go to Give Kids the World. They helped us with everything. It was so smooth. And then we got to Florida. We arrived in Florida, and there was somebody there to greet us there. Then we arrived at Give Kids the World, and everything was taken care of, and I wasn't used to that. And we also they had a new ride there, which was right across from our room, and it had a wheelchair spot on it. Well, then later I found out it actually wasn't up and running yet, and so I was very bummed. But then we went swimming. They have a pool. They have actually a couple pools, and we came back and it was going. They offered us, actually, would you like to be the first wheelchair user on this ride? I'm like, yeah. So Andrea got to go up in the air. I was up in the air with her in her wheelchair, and that, to me, I didn't think that day would ever happen. And so that was a neat thing to experience and be part of actually history. Just so many first rides, first experience meeting Mickey. That's kind of stuff that I actually think blow those other milestones out of the water. is really hard to explain to someone who hasn't maybe gone through the day in and day out of research, of IEP meetings, of fighting for equipment, fighting for inclusion, the day-to-day keeping your child alive. There was many nights just sitting, laying, watching her chest rise and fall. So to have a vacation like this and put all of that aside and just focus on her as a 7-year-old child and being with her family and experiencing the activities that kids without health issues get experience day in, day out, it was finally a trip, a vacation to relax. And that is priceless to me. Thank you, Make-A-Wish, Iowa!